Hi, so this video is going to be for my low carb chicken enchiladas, and this starts with the chicken. So I purchased 5 pounds of bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. They were on sale for 99 cents a pound. So I got all 5 pounds and I cooked them in my crock pot electric pressure cooker. I cooked them on the poultry setting for about 30 minutes. And I let them naturally de-steam. And once they were finished, I pulled them off of the bone. I pulled off the skin and shredded the meat. This is what you get. So this is the amount of chicken I'm going to use. I measured out 10 ounces. So I cooked this, I left the skin on, and I liberally rubbed it with a good poultry seasoning that I like. I got mine at Aldi's. So I rub it really well with that, and I add in a can of chicken stock when I put that in my electric pressure cooker. And the most important part is don't throw that broth away. I'm going to use it later. It tastes delicious. Homemade chicken broth. It's not completely homemade because I have a little in there, but it's going to be fortified and delicious. So I'm using 10 ounces of this. The rest of that is actually going to go for another recipe. I'm going to make this into 3 different recipes. So the cool thing is you can buy 5 pounds, cook them once, 3 recipes done. So this is going to start in my bowl here. I already have 8 ounces of the 1/3 less fat cream cheese. To that, I'm going to add my 10 ounces of chicken. And like I said, this is the chicken thighs. You can use shredded white meat if you want. You can use chicken breast, whatever you want. I happen to like the chicken thighs. I think it, because these are going to bake again, I think that the meat doesn't dry out. And especially since I'm going to be leaving this in the fridge a couple of days, because these are actually going to be made later on in the week. I want that meat to stay nice and tender. So I'm gonna combine those just a little bit. And I don't actually know how much this makes, so at the end of this I'm gonna divide this up and figure out the calorie count for you. I've made these so many times, but I've never actually sat down and said, okay, each tortilla is this much. And I'm going to make these 2 different ways. I'm going to put some of them in tortillas, and I'm going to make one into like a little casserole, because I'm not really into tortillas right now, even the low carb ones. So there. The next thing I'm going to add is 1 can of Campbell's Fiesta Nacho Cheese. This, you could sub this with the cheddar cheese can if you'd like. There's several things. You can omit this, whatever you like. I like it. The kids like it. It's going to go in there. The whole can. And this is incredibly leftover and kid friendly. All the kids seem to like this, so that's always a win. That's going to go in. Mix again. And you're going to see this is heavy cheese and heavy chicken. Super good source of protein. Okay. This is the tortilla, the salsa that I like to use. This is a black bean and corn salsa I got from Aldi. I really like the flavor of this. I'm going to pour half of this in here. This is a 16 ounce. I'm going to pour about half of it. I think it adds lots of flavor and texture too, because it's got the black beans and the corn in there. It's about half. Mix again. This is also going to make a great little casserole too. It bakes up really nicely. Okay, it's about mixed. I'm going to grab one more spoon because I don't have one. Just a minute. More planning there. My next ingredient is about 8 ounces of light sour cream. So I'm going to just kind of split this in half. This is a 16 ounce carton, so I'm going to take about half of it, plop it in. If you're being super picky about your calories, measure out 8 ounces, 1 cup. I'm going to stir that around well. This is probably going to make a whole lot more than what I'm going to use today. This also freezes. This mix itself freezes lovely. So you can actually put it in your freezer, put it in a bag, put it in your freezer, and then when you're ready to use it, pull them out, let it de-thaw naturally in the fridge, and then you can use this mix super quick. So this batch is probably going to make enough for me to put some in the freezer, which I enjoy doing because then I can have some for later. Now, I am going to use the Fiesta Blend cheese. This is just the Mexican. It has Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso quesadilla, and asadero. This is an 8-ounce package. I'm going to put about half of it in here. And then the other half is going to go on the top. So we're going to use all 8 ounces of this at some point. We're going to mix. And as you can see, I have a lot of filling. This is a lot. That's what I want though. I'm going to try to get all of my cream cheese incorporated really well. All the ingredients weren't really well incorporated. And the more we mix this, the more it's going to break up that chicken. So it's going to be nice, even mixture. This is what it looks like when I've got it all mixed up. I know it looks great, but it tastes great. So a cool way that I use to stuff my tortillas is I use a bag. I would normally use a gallon size, but for some reason I don't have any, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to turn the baggie inside out and kind of make it a little cup in my hand. If you have a better way of stuffing them, you don't mind touching the stuff, you can do it however you'd like. I prefer to kind of pipe it in there, so that's what I'm going to do. Really gracefully here. Sorry about this. All of it's going to go. I'm going to put about half of it in this bag. We're going to see where that goes. Yep. Okay, I've got about half of the mixture in this bag. Maybe just a little bit more, maybe. There we go. Move this over here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pause because my dogs are crazy. Okay, they're quiet now. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to clean off one little edge here, and I'm going to snip this edge off with my scissors. You want to make it big enough where you're going to be able to get the actual filling out. So I've got a pretty good size hole here. Okay. Now, I have, as I said earlier in one of my other videos, I like to use a 9x13, but I also like to use one of these aluminum baking dishes just to make cleanup easier. It sits right down in there. I am using Old El Paso red enchilada sauce. I have taken about 1/4 cup and I put it in the bottom, swirling it around. This is going to keep the tortillas from sticking. Next, low carb tortillas. These are Mission Carb Balance. They have 4 net carbs each and about 70 calories. I'm going to open these up. Actually, I have one that's already open. I'm going to use this one first. I'm going to use both packages, but we're going to start with this one. So, you don't want to overfill these, but you want enough filling so that each person knows they've got a chicken enchilada. I'm going to pipe this right in the middle. Use this bowl right here. About that much. Yes, I know it doesn't look great right now. I'm going to spread it, and then I'm going to roll it up. The one thing about low carb tortillas is they sometimes don't roll as nicely, but we're going to use them anyway. As long as you don't tell the kids that they're not low carb, they won't notice. You can also use whole wheat tortillas. Just remember that you'll change your calorie counts based on what you use. Mix this out. You're just going to put them in the pan really close to each other. Once I get finished with all this, then I'm going to cover the entire top with the enchilada sauce. And then I'm going to cover with the rest of the cheese. Bake at about 375 for about 30 to 45 minutes, just depending upon how long it takes. Mine is going to take a little bit longer because I'm going to have mine sitting in the fridge, and then they're going to be pulled straight out of the fridge and go straight into the oven. So if you make them right now without refrigerating, then they'll take less time to cook. But you just want to watch. Once the cheese in the top gets bubbly, everything in here is cooked, so you don't have to worry about, you know, giving somebody salmonella. Everything is cooked. So I'm just going to continue to layer these out, and I'll be back in just a few minutes to show you what it looks like, and I'm also going to put together the little enchilada casserole that I'm going to do. Okay, I'm back. So that recipe actually did make all of those tortillas. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. And I have a mini casserole that I made as well, and I'll show you that in a second. So what I've done is, as I told you, I'm not going to bake these right now. So I have made them into my little enchiladas, put them on here. I'm going to cover and put them in the fridge. I'm going to put my enchilada sauce on the side in a covered dish, resealable container, so that the kids can just pour it over the top. Got the rest of my cheese. Just going to lay this actually on top of it so that the kids know where that is and it doesn't get eaten. I do have one kid that does not like red sauce at all, so I've made one with, this is just store-bought queso. This is not included in the calorie count. So, but she doesn't like red sauce, so that's hers. These are the neatest little containers. These look like the little takeout containers you get at the Mexican restaurant. So I've made these in the little individual ones. Just going to close this up. I write the instructions on the top so they know what temperature the oven needs to be on and how long to bake them. As I said, next week is actually their fall break, so they'll all be here. There are 4 of them, and they're all girls, and they eat a lot. So this is an important part. My little mini casserole dish is here. So I get these little mini ones. I got these at Walmart. I filled it about halfway full with my mix. This is about 2 servings of that. I put some red sauce on the bottom, put the red sauce on the top, sprinkled it with cheese. This will be what I eat, if my stomach allows me. I think it should. So the bigger dish is going to go in the oven, 350, probably for 35 to 45 minutes, just depending upon when it starts to look bubbly. And this little guy here is probably going to take about 20 minutes in the oven. And that's about it. So I did go ahead and work up the calorie count. I'm going to do it without the tortilla first, so you can kind of decide how you want to eat. So without the tortilla, it is 150 calories per serving, 13 grams of carbs, 0.8 grams of fiber, 3 grams of protein. For one tortilla, with the tortilla, it's 220 calories, 24 grams of carbs, 7.8 of that is fiber, and 5 grams of protein. Like I said, you want to do a little better job of measuring out than I did. I kind of eyeballed it. I knew this is probably what I'm going to eat, so I'm going to eat this will probably be 3 meals, maybe even 4 for me. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching. That's my chicken enchiladas, low carb, and I appreciate you watching.